Ketchup. It's the one condiment almost everyone has in their fridge. It goes on fries, burgers, nuggets, eggs, and sometimes even rice. It tastes simple and harmless. But what if I told you that most ketchup brands on the shelves today are basically sugar in disguise? Behind that bright red color and sweet tangy flavor hides a shocking truth. Many ketchup brands contain more sugar per tablespoon than a chocolate chip cookie. Plus, high fructose corn syrup, artificial colors, chemical preservatives, and even ingredients banned in other countries. And the worst part? These ingredients don't just add flavor, they spike your blood sugar, cause inflammation, mess with your gut, and create cravings that keep you reaching for more. In today's video, we're exposing 8 ketchup brands you should avoid at all costs, including popular household names that pretend to be natural, healthy, or home style, but are anything but. And after that, I'll show you a few ketchup brands that are actually clean, safe, and healthy, so you don't have to give up ketchup completely. Let's begin. 1. Heinz Original Ketchup, the sweetest lie in your fridge. Heinz isn't just a ketchup brand, it is ketchup for most households. It's the red bottle you grew up with, the one you see at fast food chains, diners, stadiums, schools, everywhere. But behind that familiar taste is one of the biggest food industry deceptions still happening today. Heinz Original Ketchup is marketed as America's favorite, but what they don't tell you is that it's also one of the unhealthiest ketchup formulas on the market. Let's start with the ingredient list. The second ingredient, after tomatoes, is high fructose corn syrup, HFCS. And guess what the third ingredient is? Corn syrup. Again, that means the product is literally double sweetened, making Heinz one of the most sugar-loaded condiments in the grocery aisle. Just 1 tablespoon contains nearly 4 grams of sugar, but nobody eats only 1 tablespoon. Realistically, you're consuming 3 to 4 tablespoons per meal, which adds up to a sugar intake equivalent to eating a whole candy bar without even realizing it. Now let's talk about vinegar and salt, which are used in huge amounts to add flavor and preserve shelf life. Heinz relies heavily on distilled white vinegar, which is usually derived from GMO corn, yet the label doesn't disclose any sourcing details. Add to that a staggering 190 milligrams of sodium per serving, and you've got a condiment that quietly contributes to high blood pressure, bloating, and inflammation. Then come the controversial parts. Heinz ketchup contains natural flavors, a vague term that legally allows companies to hide lab-created chemical flavorings that enhance taste and aroma. This helps manufacturers maintain flavor consistency, even when tomato quality varies. But it also means you're consuming synthetic chemicals without your knowledge. And here's something most people have never heard. Heinz has been called out multiple times by food scientists for having ketchup that is so heavily processed. The tomatoes used often come from concentrated tomato paste shipped from China, then rehydrated, mixed with sugar, and colored. That fresh tomato taste is anything but fresh. Despite its nostalgic status, Heinz Original Ketchup is essentially a sugar sauce with tomato flavor, engineered to be addictive and shelf-stable for years. 2. Hunt's Tomato Ketchup. No high fructose corn syrup, but that doesn't make it healthy. Hunt's loves to position itself as the cleaner, more natural alternative to Heinz. Their bottles proudly say, "No high fructose corn syrup," and for many shoppers, that's all it takes to assume it's the healthier choice. But here's the truth grocery stores don't want you to notice. Removing HFCS doesn't automatically make a ketchup healthy, especially when everything else in the formula still works against you. Let's break it down. Yes, Hunt's replaced HFCS with regular refined sugar, but in terms of how your body reacts, it's still sugar, and a lot of it. A single tablespoon of Hunt's ketchup contains 3 grams of sugar, but most people squeeze out 2, 3, even 4 tablespoons on burgers, eggs, fries, chicken tenders, you name it. That means you're adding 10 to 12 grams of sugar on top of an already heavy meal, spiking your blood sugar without even realizing it. But the sugar isn't the only problem. Hunt's also uses distilled vinegar, high sodium, and the vague, mysterious ingredient known as natural flavors. Natural flavor might sound harmless, but legally, that term can hide chemical solvents, stabilizers, and artificial flavor compounds that companies are not required to disclose. It's a loophole that allows brands to keep their formulas proprietary, meaning you never truly know what you're eating. And then we get into the most shocking part. Hunt's ketchup is made using tomato concentrate, not fresh tomatoes. That means the tomatoes were cooked down at extreme temperatures, processed into paste, stored in giant vats, shipped diluted, and then recombined with sugar and additives. The result? A ketchup that has far less actual tomato nutrition, almost no natural fiber, and a flavor profile built more from chemistry than from real produce. Even worse, Hunt's has been criticized for using tomatoes that come from unknown global sources, sometimes involving farms with questionable labor practices and poor quality control standards. So while the bottle proudly displays the iconic tomato image on the label, what you're actually getting is a highly processed, heavily sweetened, flavor-engineered sauce with minimal real tomato benefits. And we haven't even mentioned the sodium. Heinz delivers 180 milligrams of salt per tablespoon, meaning a few servings push you toward nearly half your recommended daily intake from one simple condiment. So yes, Heinz may claim no HFCS, but it still lands firmly on the list of ketchup brands to avoid because it's still sugary, still processed, still loaded with salt, and still far from healthy. 3. Whataburger Spicy Ketchup. Bold flavor, hidden problems. Whataburger's spicy ketchup has almost a cult following. People drive across state lines for it, hoard packets in their glove compartments, and even buy the bottles from grocery stores because they swear nothing else tastes like it. And that's true, nothing else does taste like it. But that's exactly why it lands on our list of ketchup brands you should avoid at all costs. Let's start with the obvious. This ketchup isn't just ketchup. It's a carefully engineered sauce designed to keep you hooked. And anytime a product's flavor is so addicting that customers treat it like a collectible, you already know there's more going on than tomatoes. Whataburger Spicy Ketchup contains the usual base, tomato concentrate, sugar, vinegar, but what makes it concerning is the extra layer of additives, heat agents, and unidentified spices used to boost flavor. On the label, you'll see the vague ingredient spices, but behind the scenes it can include extractives, powdered additives, capsaicin oils, stabilizers, and chemical flavor boosters that don't need to be individually named. This loophole allows manufacturers to hide ingredients that may cause inflammation, allergic reactions, or sensitivity issues without telling you. Then there's the sodium. At 200 milligrams per tablespoon, this ketchup is saltier than almost every mainstream ketchup on the market. The spicy flavor makes it even more addictive, so most people don't stop at 1 tablespoon. If you're dipping fries, chicken strips, tater tots, or burgers, you might easily hit 500 to 700 milligrams of sodium in one sitting, just from the condiment alone. Add on top of that the sugar, which pairs with the spice and salt to hit all 3 of the brain's reward centers. It's literally designed to make your mouth demand more, the perfect combination for overeating. But here's what most people don't know. The spicy kick doesn't primarily come from fresh peppers. It often comes from processed pepper additives, including capsicum oleoresin, a concentrated pepper extract commonly found in mass-produced hot sauces. In some cases, this extract has been linked to upset stomach, acid reflux, and digestive irritation, especially when mixed with the acidity of ketchup and vinegar. And because Whataburger is a fast food chain, their bottled ketchup must remain shelf-stable for long periods. To do this, it requires preservatives and acidity regulators, things that don't belong in something as simple as tomato, vinegar, and salt. So while the flavor is amazing, the long-term effects aren't. Excess sodium, hidden additives, sugar disguised under a spicy label, addictive flavor engineering, that's a combination worth avoiding. 4. Del Monte Tomato Ketchup. Why you should avoid it at all costs. Del Monte is a brand most people trust because it's been around for decades, sitting on grocery shelves right next to the big names. But don't let the familiar green and red label fool you. When it comes to ketchup quality, Del Monte is one of the worst offenders, loaded with questionable ingredients that make it far from the healthy, tomato-rich condiment you expect. First, let's talk sweeteners. Del Monte ketchup often includes high fructose corn syrup or a combination of HFCS and regular corn syrup, meaning you're getting a double hit of processed sugars in every squeeze. HFCS is strongly linked to weight gain, liver stress, inflammation, and insulin resistance. And because ketchup is something people use generously, on fries, burgers, sandwiches, those hidden sugars add up fast. You're basically turning your meal into a dessert without realizing it. Then there's the salt content, which is shockingly high for such a small serving. Just a couple of tablespoons can push your sodium intake up more than expected, contributing to bloating, dehydration, and high blood pressure. For a condiment that is supposed to complement your food, Del Monte ends up becoming a nutritional landmine. Another major concern is the lack of real tomatoes. Instead of using whole, fresh ingredients, Del Monte relies heavily on tomato concentrate, which is essentially a dehydrated, reconstituted version of tomatoes stripped of natural nutrients. This means fewer antioxidants, less natural flavor, and more artificial stabilization. To make up for this reduced richness, the company pumps in flavor enhancers, acidity regulators, and thickeners. The result? A ketchup that tastes more sugary and artificial than tomato-rich. Del Monte ketchup also contains artificial preservatives like sodium benzoate, which can form benzene, a known carcinogen, when combined with vitamin C under the right conditions. While the risk is low, it's still unnecessary exposure you don't need, especially when cleaner options exist. Even the color and texture give away the heavily processed nature of this ketchup. Instead of a deep tomato red, Del Monte often has a brighter, almost neon shade, signaling the use of added color or highly refined tomato paste. The texture is thinner, runnier, and less natural, making it feel more like a sugary sauce than actual ketchup. In short, Del Monte ketchup is cheap for a reason. It's overloaded with HFCS, low-quality tomato concentrate, preservatives, and salt, making it one of the least healthy ketchup options on the market. If you care about your health and want ketchup that's closer to real tomatoes and real flavor, Del Monte is a brand you definitely want to skip. 5. Great Value Ketchup. Walmart brand. Why you should avoid it at all costs. Great Value is Walmart's budget-friendly brand, and while it saves you a couple of dollars at checkout, the hidden price you pay with your health is far more expensive. This ketchup is one of the most heavily processed options on the market, built on low-quality ingredients and additives that turn a simple condiment into a nutritional disaster. First, the biggest red flag, high fructose corn syrup, HFCS, is one of the first ingredients, not tomatoes. That alone tells you everything you need to know. When a ketchup is more corn syrup than actual tomato, you're not eating ketchup anymore. You're eating a sugary, artificial syrup dyed red. HFCS is linked to obesity, fatty liver disease, insulin resistance, and chronic inflammation. And because ketchup is used in small servings multiple times per week, the impact builds up silently. Next, Great Value uses tomato concentrate made from low-quality, over-processed tomatoes instead of whole, fresh ones. This means the natural lycopene, antioxidants, and sweetness of tomatoes are reduced dramatically. To compensate for the lack of flavor, Walmart loads the formula with extra sugar, refined salt, and artificial preservatives, creating a ketchup that tastes sweet, salty, and flat, instead of fresh and tomato-rich. The sodium content alone is concerning. Just 1 tablespoon carries more salt than some small bags of chips. For families who use ketchup daily, especially kids, this creates a long-term risk for high blood pressure and early heart strain. Sodium isn't the only issue. Great Value also includes natural flavors, a vague term that allows companies to hide synthetic additives under a broad label. Another concern is the consistency and color of this ketchup. Instead of the thick, deep red texture that comes from real tomatoes, Great Value has a brighter, almost artificial red color that often indicates color stabilizers or highly refined paste. The texture is slightly watery, meaning it's heavily diluted and bulked up with thickeners instead of tomato solids. Then we get to preservatives like potassium sorbate or sodium benzoate, depending on the batch. These additives extend shelf life but offer zero nutritional value, and in some cases can irritate the digestive system or contribute to headaches and sensitivities. The bottom line? Great Value. Ketchup is designed to be cheap, not healthy. It cuts corners at every step. Cheap ingredients, heavy sweeteners, added preservatives, and minimal real tomato content. If you care about avoiding unnecessary sugars, salt, and synthetic additives, this is one brand that belongs nowhere near your cart. 6. Signature Select Ketchup. Safeway Albertsons. Signature Select Ketchup, commonly found in Safeway and Albertsons stores, may appear like a convenient and affordable choice, but it has several hidden drawbacks that make it a ketchup to avoid. While marketed as a classic tomato ketchup, this product is heavily processed and often contains high fructose corn syrup, HFCS, as the main sweetener, which is linked to obesity, insulin resistance, and other metabolic issues when consumed frequently. Alongside HFCS, it may include artificial flavorings and preservatives to extend shelf life and maintain its bright red color, which reduces the natural nutritional value of the tomatoes used. Another issue is sodium content. Processed ketchups like Signature Select are typically high in sodium to enhance flavor and act as a preservative. Excess sodium contributes to high blood pressure and other cardiovascular risks over time. While the bottle may make it look like a harmless condiment for burgers, fries, and sandwiches, the combination of sugar, sodium, and additives makes this a product to consume very sparingly. Finally, while tomato-based condiments can be healthy, this particular ketchup relies more on cheap sweeteners and flavor enhancers than real tomato nutrition. If you're trying to minimize processed sugars and chemicals in your diet, Signature Select Ketchup is best avoided, as it falls into the category of highly processed condiments that can sneakily impact your health. 7. Brooklyn Burger Ketchup. Brooklyn Burger Ketchup may seem like a gourmet or premium ketchup brand, but it hides several health concerns under its artisanal packaging. Like many small or niche brands, it often uses refined sugars or high-fructose corn syrup to achieve the sweet flavor profile people expect from ketchup. Even though it may market itself as all-natural or crafted for flavor, many batches still contain added stabilizers, artificial colors, and preservatives to maintain consistency and shelf life. Another hidden concern is portion creep. Because of its rich, thick taste, people often use it in larger amounts, unknowingly consuming extra sugar and sodium with each meal. While it may taste delicious on burgers and sandwiches, the regular consumption of Brooklyn Burger ketchup can contribute to weight gain, blood sugar spikes, and increased cardiovascular risk over time. In short, even seemingly premium ketchups like Brooklyn Burger can be misleading. They may promise flavor and authenticity, but when scrutinized for sugar, sodium, and additives, they are often no better than mass-market options, and certainly not a healthy daily condiment. 8. Fancy ketchup. From fast food chains. Generic dispensers. The generic ketchup dispensers at fast food chains are deceptively dangerous. While the word ketchup makes them appear like a simple tomato-based condiment, these dispensers often contain high-fructose corn syrup, artificial flavors, and preservatives, along with excessive sodium. Restaurants use these processed ketchups because they are cheap, shelf-stable, and consistent in taste, but they are far from wholesome. Frequent consumption of these generic ketchups can lead to excessive sugar intake without you even realizing it, especially when paired with fries, burgers, and other fast food staples. The high sugar and sodium content, combined with artificial additives, make these dispensers a hidden source of unhealthy ingredients that can quietly impact long-term health. Now that we've explored the ketchup brands you should definitely avoid, whether it's cheap store brands, artisanal-sounding labels, or fast food dispensers, it's time to shift focus. Not all ketchups are harmful. There are safer, more wholesome alternatives that give you the flavor you love without the sugar overload or unnecessary additives. Let's look at a couple of healthier options you can confidently use at home or on your favorite meals. Healthy alternative. Number 1. Organicville Organic Ketchup. When it comes to ketchup, not all brands are created equal. While most mass-market or fast food ketchups are loaded with high-fructose corn syrup, excessive sodium, and artificial additives, Organicville Organic Ketchup proves that you can enjoy this classic condiment without compromising your health. Organicville focuses on quality ingredients and transparency, making it one of the few ketchups that delivers real nutrition along with taste. The first thing that sets Organicville apart is its use of organic, non-GMO tomatoes as the primary ingredient. These tomatoes are carefully grown without synthetic pesticides or fertilizers, which means the ketchup you're adding to your burger, fries, or sandwich is free from harmful chemical residues. Unlike many conventional ketchups that prioritize shelf life over nutrition, Organicville preserves the natural tomato flavor while retaining key nutrients, such as lycopene, a powerful antioxidant known for supporting heart health and protecting against oxidative stress. One of the biggest problems with standard ketchup is high fructose corn syrup, HFCS. HFCS is cheap, sweet, and pervasive in processed condiments, but it has been linked to weight gain, insulin resistance, and other metabolic problems. Organicville avoids HFCS entirely, relying instead on organic cane sugar to provide natural sweetness in moderation. This allows the ketchup to taste just as satisfying without causing extreme blood sugar spikes or contributing to long-term health risks. Sodium is another hidden issue in conventional ketchups. Most store-bought or fast food varieties contain dangerously high levels of sodium to preserve flavor and shelf life. Organicville keeps sodium content in check, ensuring that you can enjoy your favorite meals without the worry of overconsumption, which can lead to high blood pressure and cardiovascular strain. Healthy alternative number 2. Primal Kitchen Organic Ketchup. For anyone who loves ketchup but is tired of the hidden sugars, artificial additives, and unhealthy ingredients in conventional brands, Primal Kitchen Organic Ketchup offers a game-changing solution. Unlike mass-market ketchups that are engineered for shelf life and cheap sweetness, Primal Kitchen focuses on clean, wholesome ingredients that provide flavor without compromising your health. This ketchup is particularly popular among people who follow paleo, keto, or clean-eating lifestyles, but it's a smart choice for anyone looking to make healthier condiment choices. The core of Primal Kitchen Organic Ketchup is its organic, non-GMO tomatoes. These tomatoes are carefully grown without synthetic pesticides or fertilizers, ensuring that every spoonful of ketchup is as natural as possible. Unlike many conventional ketchups, which use cheap, highly processed tomato concentrates, Primal Kitchen preserves the natural tomato flavor and nutrients, including lycopene, a powerful antioxidant known to protect the heart and reduce oxidative stress. This makes it not just a flavor booster, but a small source of real nutritional value in your meals. And that wraps up our complete guide to ketchup brands you should avoid, and the healthier alternatives you can safely enjoy. From cheap store brands loaded with high fructose corn syrup, to fast food dispensers and even some artisanal labels, many ketchups are sneaky sources of sugar, sodium, and artificial additives. But the good news is, not all ketchup is created equal. With options like Organicville organic ketchup and Primal Kitchen organic ketchup, you can still enjoy that classic tangy flavor without compromising your health. These healthier alternatives prove that it's possible to indulge in your favorite meals while avoiding unnecessary sugars and chemicals. Remember, small changes in everyday condiments can have a surprisingly big impact on your health. Choosing a ketchup that is real, natural, and minimally processed is an easy way to start making better choices without feeling deprived. Thanks for watching, stay informed, and keep making smarter, healthier decisions in your daily life.